Welcome. In this video we're going to be looking at how to make this cute crochet hexagon with puff stitches in the middle and then clusters before a granny square or granny hexagon edge. So this is a little cotton sample with Cotton Kings. I love this cotton, and for the video, for the tutorial, I'm going to be using Stylecraft Special DK in Vintage Peach with a 4mm hook. So we're going to begin with a double magic circle, and chain one. For round one, we're going to be making 6 puff stitches, 3 loop puff stitches with 2 chain spaces between each stitch. So for the first one, I just bring my chain up to the height of a US double, UK treble, yarn over, insert, pull through, yarn over, insert, pull through twice, yarn over, insert, pull through 3 times, yarn over, pull through all the loops, and then chain 2. And we're going to move on to the next puff stitch. So we're going to make 5 more, 6 in total, and I'll see you at the end of the round. So I'm just finishing my last puff stitch, and then I'm going to chain 2. So before I close the circle, I'm just going to check that I've got 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to pull the circle tight. And then slip stitch into the first puff stitch to join the round. And that's the end of round 1. 6 puff stitches with 6 chain 2 spaces. So for round 2, we're going to slip stitch into the chain 2 space and chain 1. So in each chain 2 space, we're going to make 2 cluster stitches with a chain 2 space between the clusters, and then a chain 1 space to hop over to the next chain 2 space. So let's make the first one together. We've already chained 1. I'm going to chain 2 and then make our first cluster stitch using 2 US doubles, UK trebles. So there's the first one, there's the second one, and then we'll finish them both off. Chain 2, and then we make the second cluster stitch. Chain 1. So now we hop across into the next chain 2 space, and we repeat. We make a cluster, chain 2, a cluster, chain 1, and then we hop across to the next space. And we're going to do that in each chain 2 space from round 1, and I'll see you at the end of the round. Sorry, I keep saying row and I mean round. I'm just making my last cluster now. Chain 1, and then we're going to slip stitch into the first cluster to join and finish round 2. So slip stitch, and then we'll slip stitch into the chain 2 space, and that's the end, how round 2 should look. So these chain 2 spaces are our hexagon corners, and then the chain 1 space are the edges. So we're starting in the corner. We're going to do a similar round to round 2. We're going to chain 2, and make a 2-stitch cluster, chain 2 and a 2-stitch cluster into the corner. Yes. So we should have 2 stitches in the chain 2 space. We're now going to chain 1 and we're going to work on the edge. So we're going to make 1 cluster into the chain 1 space. Chain 1 and we're at the next corner. So we're going to make a cluster, chain 2 and then a cluster into that same chain 2 space. After the corner, chain 1 and into the chain 1 space make 1 cluster stitch, and we're going to repeat all the way around, making 2 stitches in the corners with a chain 2 space and 1 stitch along the edge. Yeah, and I'll see you at the end of the round. I'm just making my last cluster now, chain 1, and then I'm going to slip stitch into the first cluster to join. And then slip stitch into the chain 2 space. And that's how it should look at the end of round 3. So to begin round 4, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to make 2 US doubles, UK trebles into the chain space. We're then going to hop across into the chain 1 space and make 2 US doubles, UK trebles. So all stitches for this round are US doubles, UK trebles. After 2 stitches, we're going to hop across to the next chain 1 space and make 2 more stitches. Yes, we've made 1 edge. We're now going to go into the corner, the chain 2 space, and we're going to make 2 stitches. Chain 1 and 2 more stitches into that same space. So that's the same for every corner. We then hop across and make 2 stitches in each chain 1 space, and then in the corner 2 stitches, chain 1, 2 stitches, and I'll see you back at the end of the round, so that we can finish off together. So I'm just coming back round to the beginning, the start of the round. And remember, we just made 2 stitches in that first corner and then that chain 3. So we're going to go in there and make the 2 stitches. Oops, let me try that again. So there's 1 and then 2. Yeah, and then we're going to slip stitch into the chain space. And there we go. That's how your hexagon should look after 4 rounds. You can block it, and then that should mix and match with the hexagons from the other videos. And I'll see you in the next video.